this computer. A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. And so it was I entered the broken world to trace the visionary company of love, its voice an instant in the wind, I know not whither hurled, but not for long to hold each desperate choice. Scene 1. The exterior of a 2-story corner building on a street in New Orleans which is named Elysian Fields and runs between the L&N tracks and the river. The section is poor, but unlike corresponding sections in other American cities, it has a raffish charm. The houses are mostly white frame, weathered grey, with rickety outside stairs and galleries and quaintly ornamented gables. This building contains 2 flats, upstairs and down. Faded white stairs ascend to the entrances of both. It is first dark of an evening early in May. The sky that shows around the dim white building is a peculiarly tender blue, almost turquoise, which invests the scene with a kind of lyricism and gracefully attenuates the atmosphere of decay. You can almost feel the warm breath of the brown river beyond the river warehouse, with their faint redolence of bananas and coffee. A corresponding air is evoked by the music of Negro entertainers at a barroom around the corner. In this part of New Orleans, you are practically always just around the corner, or a few doors down the street, from a tinny piano being played with the infatuated fluency of brown fingers. This blue piano expresses the spirit of life which goes on here. 2 women, one white and one coloured, are taking the air on the steps of the building. The white woman is Eunice, who occupies the upstairs flat. The coloured woman, a neighbour, for New Orleans is a cosmopolitan city where there is a relatively warm and easy intermingling of races in the old part of town. Above the music of the blue piano, the voices of the people on the street can be heard overlapping. 2 men come around the corner, Stanley Kowalski and Mitch. They are about 28 or 30 years old, roughly dressed, in blue denim work clothes. Stanley carries his bowling jacket and a red-stained package from a butcher's. They stop at the foot of the steps. Hey, Stella, baby! Stella comes out on the first floor balcony.
Don't holler at me like that. Hi, Mitch.
Catch!
What?
Meat! He heaves the package at her. She cries out in protest, but manages to catch it. Then she laughs breathlessly. Her husband and his companion have already started back around the corner.
Oh, Stanley, where are you going?
Bowling!
Can I come watch?
Come on!
Be over soon. Hello, Eunice. How are you? I'm all right. Tell Steve to get him a poor boy's sandwich, 'cause nothing's left here. What was that package you threw it up? You hush now. Catch what?
She continues to laugh. Blanch comes round the corner carrying a valise. She looks at a slip of paper, then at the building, then again at the slip, and again at the building. Her expression is one of shocked disbelief. Her appearance is incongruous to this setting. She is daintily dressed in a white suit with a fluffy bodice, necklace and earrings of pearl, white gloves and hat, looking as if she were arriving at a summer tea or cocktail party in the Garden District. She is about 5 years older than Stella. Her delicate beauty must avoid a strong light. There is something about her uncertain manner, as well as her white clothes, that suggests a moth.
What's the matter, honey? Are you lost?
They told me to take a streetcar named Desire and then transfer to one called Cemeteries and ride 6 blocks and get off at Elysian Fields.
Well, that's where you are now.
At Elysian Fields?
This here is Elysian Fields.
I'm sorry. Can we pause for a second?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. I told everything to be quiet on my.
This here is Elysian Fields.
Well, they mustn't have understood what number I wanted.
What number you looking for?
632.
You don't have to look no further.
I'm looking for my sister, Stella Dubois. Mrs. Stanley Kowalski.
That's the party. You just did miss her, though.
Can this be her home?
Oh, she's got the downstairs here, and I got the up.
Oh, she's out?
You notice that bowling alley around the corner?
I'm not sure I did.
Well, that's where she's at, watching her husband bowl. You want to leave your suitcase here and go find her?
No.
I'll go tell her you come.
Thanks.
You're welcome. She wasn't expecting you?
No, not tonight.
Well, why don't you just go in and make yourself at home till they get back?
Well, how could I do that?
Well, we own this place, so I can let you in.
She gets up and opens the downstairs door. A light goes on behind the blind, turning it light blue. Blanch slowly follows her into the downstairs flat. The surrounding areas dim out as the interior is lighted. 2 rooms can be seen, not too clearly defined. The first one entered is primarily a kitchen, but contains a folding bed to be used by Blanch. The room beyond, this is a bedroom. Off this room is a narrow door to a bathroom.
It's sort of messed up right now, but when it's clean, it's real sweet.
Is it?
Uh-huh, I think so. So you're Stella's sister?
Yes. Thanks for letting me in.
Por nadar, as the Mexicans say. Por nadar. Stella spoke of you.
Yes.
I think she said you taught school.
Yes.
And you're from Mississippi, huh?
Yes.
She showed me a picture of your home place, the plantation.
Belle Reve?
Oh, a great big place with white columns.
Yes.
A place like that must be awful hard to keep up.
If you will excuse me, I'm just about to drop.
Sure, honey. Why don't you sit down?
What I meant was I'd like to be left alone.
Oh, I'll make myself scarce in that case.
I didn't mean to be rude, but
I'll drop by the bowling alley and hustle her up.
She goes out. Blanch sits in a chair very stiffly with her shoulders slightly hunched and her legs pressed close together and her hands tightly clutching a purse as if she were quite cold. After a while the blind look goes out of her eyes and she begins to look around. A cat screeches. She catches her breath with a startled gesture. Suddenly she notices something in a half-open closet. She springs up and crosses to it and removes a whiskey bottle. She pours a half tumbler of whiskey and tosses it down. She carefully replaces the bottle and washes out the tumbler at the sink. Then she resumes her seat in front of the table.
I've got to keep a hold of myself.
Stella comes quickly round the corner of the building and runs to the door of the downstairs flat.
Blanch!
Stella! Oh, Stella. Stella for star.
She begins to speak with feverish vivacity, as if she feared for either of them to stop and think. They catch each other in a spasmodic embrace.
Now then, let me look at you. But don't you look at me, Stella. No, not till later. Not till I've bathed and rested. And turn that overlight off. Turn that off. I won't be looked at in this merciless glare. Come back here now. Oh, my baby Stella. Stella for star. I thought you would never come back to this horrible place. What am I saying? I didn't mean to say that. I meant to be nice about it and say, oh, what a convenient location and such. And precious lamb, you haven't said a word to me.
You haven't given me a chance to, honey.
Well, now you talk. Open your pretty mouth and talk while I look around for some liquor. I know you must have some liquor on this place. Where could it be, I wonder? Oh, I spy.
She rushes to the closet and removes the bottle. She is shaking all over and panting for breath as she tries to laugh. The bottle nearly slips from her grasp.
Blanche, you sit down and let me pour the drinks. I don't know what we've got to mix with. Maybe a Coke's in the icebox. Look and see, honey, while I'm...
No Coke, honey, not with my nerves tonight. Where is
Stanley, bowling. He loves it. They're having found some soda. Tournament.
Just water, baby, to chase it. Now, don't get worried. Your sister hasn't turned into a drunkard. She's just all shaken up and hot and tired and dirty. You sit down now and explain this place to me. What are you doing in a place like this?
Now, Blanche.
Oh, I'm not going to be hypocritical. I'm going to be honestly critical about it. Never in my worst dreams could I picture only Mr. Edgar Allan Poe could do it justice. Out there, I suppose, is the ghoul-hunted woodland of where?
No, honey. Those are the L&M tracks.
No, now, seriously, putting joking aside, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you write me, honey? Why didn't you let me know?
Tell you what, Blanche?
Why, that you have to live in these conditions.
Are you being a little intense about it? It's not that bad at all. New Orleans isn't like other cities.
This has got nothing to do with New Orleans. You might as well say, forgive me, blessed baby. The subject is closed.
Thanks.
You're all I've got in the world, and you're not glad to see me.
Why, Blanche, you know that's not true.
No, I'd forgotten how quiet you were.
You never did give me a chance to say much, Blanche. So I just got in the habit of being quiet around you.
A good habit to get into. You haven't asked me how I happened to get away from the school before the spring term ended.
Well, I thought you'd volunteer that information if you wanted to tell me.
You thought I'd been fired.
No, I thought you might have resigned.
I was so exhausted by all I'd been through, my nerves broke. I was on the verge of lunacy almost. So Mr. Graves is the high school superintendent, he suggested I take a leave of absence. I couldn't put all of those details into the wire. Oh, this buzzes right through me and feels so good.
Won't you have another?
No, one's my limit.
Sure.
You haven't said a word about my appearance.
You look just fine.
God love you for a liar. Daylight never exposed so total a ruin. But you've put on some weight. Yes, you're just as plump as a little partridge, and it's so becoming to you.
Now, Blanche.
Yes, it is, or I wouldn't say it. You just have to watch around the hips a little. Stand up.
Not now.
You hear me? I said stand up. You messy child, you. You spilt something on the pretty white lace collar. About your hair, you ought to have it cut in a feather bob with your dainty features. Stella, you have a maid, don't you?
No, with only 2 rooms, it's...
What? 2 rooms, did you say?
This one and...
The other one? I'm going to take just one little tiny nip more, sort of to put the stopper on, so to speak, then put the bottle away so I won't be tempted. I want you to look at my figure. You know, I haven't put on an ounce in 10 years, Stella. I weigh what I weighed in the summer you left Belle Reve, the summer Dad died and you left us.
It's just incredible, Blanche, how well you're looking.
But Stella, there's only 2 rooms. I don't see where you're going to put me.
We're going to put you in here.
Well, what kind of bed's this? One of those collapsible things?
Does it feel all right?
Wonderful, honey. I don't like a bed that gives much. But there's no door between the two rooms. And Stanley, will it be decent?
Stanley is Polish, you know.
Oh, yes. There's something like Irish, aren't they?
Well,
Only not so highbrow. I brought some nice clothes to meet all your lovely friends in.
I'm afraid you won't think they are lovely.
What are they like?
They're Stanley's friends.
Polacks?
They're a mixed lot, Blanche.
Heterogeneous types?
Oh, yes, types is right.
Well, anyhow, I bought nice clothes and I'll wear them. I guess you're hoping I'll say I'll put up at a hotel, but I'm not going to put up at a hotel. I want to be near you. Got to be with somebody. I can't be alone because, as you must have noticed, I'm not very well.
You seem a little bit nervous or overwrought or something.
Will Stanley like me or will I just be a visiting in-law, Stella? I couldn't stand that.
You'll get along fine together if you'll just try not to, compare him with men that we went out with at home.
Is he so different?
Yes, a different species.
In what way? What's he like?
Oh, you can't describe someone you're in love with. Here's a picture of him.
An officer.
A master sergeant in the engineer corps. Those are decorations.
He had those on when you met him?
I assure you, I wasn't just blinded by all the brass.
That's not what
But of course, there were things to adjust myself to later on.
such as his civilian background. How did he take it when you said I was coming?
Oh, Stanley doesn't know yet.
You haven't told him?
He's on the road a good deal.
Oh, travels?
Yes.
Good. I mean, isn't it?
I can hardly stand it when he's away for a night.
Why, Stella.
When he's away for a week, I nearly go wild.
Gracious.
And when he comes back, I cry on his lap like a baby.
I guess that is what is meant by being in love. Stella,
What?
I haven't asked you the things you probably thought I was going to ask, and so I'll expect you to be understanding about what I have to tell you.
What, Blanche?
Well, Stella, you're going to reproach me. I know that you're bound to reproach me, but before you do, take into consideration, you left. I stayed and struggled. You came to New Orleans and looked out for yourself. I stayed at Belle Reve and tried to hold it together. I'm not meaning this in a reproachful way, but all the burden descended on my shoulders.
The best I could do was make my own living, Blanche.
I know, but you're the one that abandoned Belle Reve, not I. I stayed and fought for it, bled for it, almost died for it.
Oh, stop this hysterical outburst and tell me what's happened. What do you mean, fought and bled? What kind of...
I knew you would, Stella. I knew you would take this attitude about it.
About what? Please.
The loss. The loss.
Belle Reve? Lost, is it? No.
Yes, Stella.
They stare at each other across the yellow check linoleum of the table. Blanche slowly nods her head, and Stella looks slowly down at her hands folded on the table. The music of the blue piano grows louder. Blanche touches her handkerchief to her forehead.
But how did it go? What happened?
You're a fine one to ask me how it went.
Blanche.
You're a fine one to sit there accusing me of it.
Blanche.
I took the blows in my face and my body. All of those deaths, the long parade to the graveyard, father, mother, Margaret, that dreadful way, so big with it it couldn't be put in a coffin, but had to be burned like rubbish. You just came home in time for the funeral, Stella. And funerals are pretty compared to deaths. Funerals are quiet, but deaths, not always. Sometimes their breathing is hoarse, and sometimes it rattles, and sometimes they even cry out to you, "Don't let me go." Even the old sometimes say, "Don't let me go." as if you were able to stop them. But funerals are quiet, with pretty flowers, and oh, what gorgeous boxes they pack them away in. Unless you were there at the bed when they cried out, "Hold me," you'd never suspect there was the struggle for breath and bleeding. You didn't dream, but I saw, and now you sit there telling me with your eyes that I let that place go. How in hell do you think all that sickness and dying was paid for? Death is expensive, Miss Stella, and old cousin Jesse's right after Margaret's. Hers? Why, the Grim Reaper had put up his tent on our doorstep. Stella, Belle Reve was his headquarters. Honey, that's how it slipped through my fingers. Which of them left us a fortune? Which of them left us a cent of insurance even? Only poor Jessie, 100 to pay for her coffin. That was all, Stella, and I with my pitiful salary at the school. Yes, accuse me, sit there and stare at me, thinking I let the place go. I let the place go? Where were you? In bed with your Pollock.
Blanche, you be still. That's enough.
Where are you going?
I'm going into the bathroom to wash my face.
Oh, Stella, you're crying.
Does that surprise you?
Forgive me, I didn't mean to.
The sound of men's voices is heard. Stella goes into the bathroom, closing the door behind her. When the men appear and Blanche realizes it must be Stanley returning, she moves uncertainly from the bathroom door to the dressing table, looking apprehensively towards the front door. Stanley enters, followed by Steve and Mitch. Stanley pauses near his door, Steve by the foot of the spiral stair, and Mitch is slightly above and to the right of them, about to go out. As the men enter, we hear some of the following dialogue. Is that how he got it?
Sure, that's how he got it. He hit the old Weatherbird for $300 on a 6-number ticket. Don't tell him those things, he'll believe it.
Hey, Mitch, come back here. Blanche, at the sound of voices, retires in the bedroom. She picks up Stanley's photo from the dressing table, looks at it, puts it down. When Stanley enters the apartment, she darts and hides behind the screen at the head of the bed.
Hey, are we playing poker tomorrow?
Sure, at Mitch's.
No, not at my place. My mother's still sick.
Okay, at my place. But you bring the beer.
Good night, all.
Eunice's voice is heard above. Break it up there. I made the spaghetti dish and ate it myself. Steve.
I told you and phoned you we was playing. Jack's beer.
You never phoned me once.
I told you at breakfast and phoned you at lunch.
Well, never mind about that. You just get yourself home here once in a while.
You want it in the papers?
More laughter and shouts of parting come from the men. Stanley throws the screen door of the kitchen open and comes in. He is of medium height, about 5'8" or 9, and strongly, compactly built. Animal joy in his being is implicit in all his movements and attitudes. Since earliest manhood, the centre of his life has been pleasure with women, the giving and taking of it. Not with weak indulgence, dependency, but with the power and pride of a richly feathered male bird among hens. Branching out from this complete and satisfying centre are all the auxiliary channels of his life, such as his heartiness with men, his appreciation of rough humour, his love of good drink and food and games, his car, his radio, everything that is his, that bears his emblem of the gaudy seed-bearer. He sizes women up at a glance with sexual classifications, crude images flashing into his mind and determining the way he smiles at them.
You must be Stanley. I'm Blanche.
Stella's sister?
Yes,
Hey, where's the little woman?
in the bathroom.
I didn't know you were coming in town.
I
Where are you from, Blanche?
live in Laurel.
In Laurel, huh? Oh, yeah, in Laurel, that's right. Not in my territory. Liquor goes fast in hot weather. Have a shot?
No, I rarely touch it.
Some people rarely touch it, but it touches them often.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God, my clothes are sticking to me. Do you mind if I make myself comfortable?
Please do.
Be comfortable is my motto.
It's mine too. It's hard to stay looking fresh. I haven't washed or even powdered my face, and here you are.
You know, you can catch cold sitting around in damp things, especially when you've been exercising hard, like bowling. You're a teacher, aren't you?
Yes,
What do you teach, Blanche?
English.
Oh, I never was a good English student. How long are you here for, Blanche?
I don't know yet.
You're going to shack up here?
I thought I would if it's not inconvenient for you all.
Good.
Traveling wears me out.
Well, take it easy. Cat screeches, Blanche jumps.
What's that?
Cats. Hey, Stella!
Yes, Stanley.
Haven't fallen in, have you? He grins at Blanche. I'm afraid I'll strike you as being the unrefined type. Stella spoke of you a good deal. Yeah, you were married once, weren't you?
Yes, when I was quite young.
What happened?
The boy died. I'm afraid I'm going to be sick.
Scene 2. It is 6 o'clock the following evening. Blanche is bathing. Stella is completing her toilette. Blanche's dress, a flowered print, is laid out on Stella's bed. Stanley enters the kitchen from outside, leaving the door open on the perpetual blue piano around the corner. Hey, what's all this monkey doings?
Oh, Stan. I'm taking Blanche to Galatoire's for supper and then to a show because it's poker night.
How about my supper, huh? I'm not going to no Galois for supper.
I put you a cold plate on ice.
Well, isn't that just dandy?
I'm going to try to keep Blanche out till the party breaks up because I don't know how she would take it. So we're going to one of the little places in the quarter afterwards, and you'd better give me some money.
Where is she?
She's soaking in a hot tub to quiet her nerves. She's terribly upset.
Over what?
She's been through such an ordeal.
Yeah?
Stan, we've lost Belle Reeve.
The place in the country?
Yes.
How?
Oh, it had to be sacrificed or something. When she comes in, be sure to say something nice about her appearance. And, oh, don't mention the baby. I haven't said anything yet. I'm waiting until she gets in a quieter condition.
So...
And try to understand her and be nice to her, Stan.
Blanche is singing in the bathroom.
From the land of the sky blue water, they bought a captive maid.
She wasn't expecting to find us in such a small place. You see, I try to gloss things over a little in my letters.
So?
And admire her dress and tell her she's looking wonderful. That's important with Blanche, her little weakness.
Yeah, I get the idea. Now, let's skip back a bit here to where you said the country place was disposed of.
Oh, yes.
How about that? Let's have some more details on that subject.
It's best not to talk much about it until she's calmed down.
So what's the deal, huh? Sister Blanche cannot be annoyed with business deals right now?
Well, you saw how she was last night.
Oh, I saw how she was. Now let's have a gander at that bill of sales.
I haven't seen any.
She didn't show you no papers? No deeds of sale? Nothing like that, huh?
Oh, it seems like it wasn't sold.
Well, what in hell was it then? Give away to charity?
Shush, she'll hear you.
I don't care if she hears me. Let's see the papers.
There weren't any papers. She didn't show any papers. I don't care about papers.
Have you ever heard of the Napoleonic Code?
No, Stanley, I haven't heard of the Napoleonic Code. If I have, I don't see what it...
Let me enlighten you on a point or two, baby.
Yes?
In the state of Louisiana, we have the Napoleonic Code, according to which what belongs to the wife belongs to the husband, and vice versa. For instance, if I had a piece of property, or you had a piece of property...
My head is swimming.
All right, I'll wait until she gets through soaking in a hot tub, and then I'll inquire if she is acquainted with the Napoleonic Code. It looks to me like you have been swindled, baby, and when you're swindled under the Napoleonic Code, I'm swindled too, and I don't like to be swindled.
Well, there's plenty of time to ask her questions later, but if you do now, she'll go to pieces again. I don't understand what happened to Belle-Reve, but you don't know how ridiculous you are being when you suggest that my sister or I or anyone of our family could have perpetuated a swindle on anyone else.
Well, where's the money if the place was sold?
Not sold, lost. Stanley.
God, open your eyes to this stuff. You think she got them out of her teacher's pay?
Hush.
Look at these feathers and furs that she come here to preen herself in. What's this here? A solid gold dress, I believe. And this one, what's this one? Fox pieces. Genuine. Fox pieces, half a mile long. Where are your fox pieces, Stella? Bushy Snow White ones, no less. Where are your white fox pieces?
Those are inexpensive summer furs that Blanch has had a long time.
I've got an acquaintance who deals with this kind of merchandise. I'll have him in here and appraise it. I'm willing to bet you there's thousands of dollars invested in this stuff here.
Oh, don't be such an idiot, Stanley.
He hurls the furs in the daybed, jerks open a small drawer in the trunk and pulls up a fistful of costume jewellery. Ha! What have we got here? A treasure chest of a pirate.
Oh, Stanley.
Pearls! Ropes of them! What is this sister of yours? A deep-sea diver who brings up sunken treasure? Or is she a champion safecracker of all time? Bracelets of solid gold, too. Where are your pearls and gold bracelets?
Shush. Be still, Stanley.
And diamonds! A crown for an empress.
A rhinestone tiara she wore to a costume ball.
Huh? What's rhinestone?
Next door to glass.
Are you kidding? I have an acquaintance who works at a jewellery store. I'll have him in here to make an appraisal of this. Here's your plantation. Or what was left of it. Here.
You have no idea how stupid and horrid you're being. Now close that trunk before she comes out of the bathroom.
He kicks the trunk closed and sits on the kitchen table. The Kowalskis and the Dubois have different notions.
Indeed they have, thank heavens. I'm going outside. You come out with me while Blanche is getting dressed.
Hey, since when you give me orders?
Are you going to stay here and insult her?
You're damn tootin' I'm going to stay here. Stella goes out to the porch. Blanche comes out of the bathroom in a red satin robe.
Hello, Stanley. Here I am all freshly bathed and scented and feeling like a brand new human being.
He lights a cigarette. That's good.
Excuse me while I slip on my pretty new dress.
Go right ahead, Blanche.
I understand there's to be a little card party to which we ladies are cordially not invited.
Yeah?
Where's Stella?
Out on the porch.
Well, I'm going to ask a favor of you in a moment.
What could that be, I wonder?
Some buttons in back. You may enter. How do I look?
Ah, you look all right.
Many thanks. Now the buttons.
I can't do nothing with them.
You men with your big clumsy fingers. May I have a drag on your cig?
Here, have one for yourself.
Why, thanks. It looks like my trunk has exploded.
Yeah. Me and Stella were helping you unpack.
Well, you certainly did a fast and thorough job of it.
It looks like you raided some stylish shops in Paris.
Yes, clothes are my passion.
Yeah. What does it cost for a string of fur pieces like that?
Why, those were a tribute from an admirer of mine.
Oh, he must have had a lot of admiration.
Oh, in my youth, I excited some admiration. But look at me now. Would you think it possible that I was once considered to be attractive?
Yeah, your looks are okay.
I was fishing for a compliment, Stanley.
Don't go in for that stuff.
What stuff?
Compliments to women about their looks. I never met a woman that didn't know if she was good looking or not without being told. And some of them give themselves credit for much more than they've got. I once went out with a doll who said to me, I am the glamorous type. I am the glamorous type. I said, so what?
And what did she say then?
She didn't say nothing. That shut her up like a clam.
Did it end the romance?
Oh, well, it ended the conversation, that was all. Some men are took in by this Hollywood glamour stuff, and some men are not.
And I'm sure you belong in the second category.
That's right.
I cannot imagine any witch of a woman casting a spell over you.
That's right.
You're simple, straightforward, and honest. A little bit on the primitive side, I should think. To interest you, a woman would have to
lay her cards on the table.
Well, I never cared for wishy-washy people. That was why when you walked in here last night, I said to myself, my sister has married a man. Of course, that was all that I could tell about you.
Cut the rebop!
Oh!
Stanley, you come out here and let Blanche finish dressing.
I'm through dressing, honey.
Well, you come out then.
Yeah, your sister and I were having a little talk.
Honey, do me a favor. Run to the drugstore and get me a lemon Coke with plenty of chipped ice in it. Will you do that for me, sweetie?
Yes.
She goes around the corner of the building.
The poor little thing was out there listening to us, and I have an idea. She doesn't understand you as well as I do. All right. Now, Mr. Kowalski, let us proceed without any more double talk. I'm ready to answer all questions. I've nothing to hide. What is it?
There is a thing in this state of Louisiana as the Napoleonic Code, according to which whatever belongs to my wife is also mine, and vice versa.
My, but you have an impressive judicial air.
She sprays herself with her atomizer and then playfully sprays him with it. He seizes the atomizer, slams it down on the dresser. She throws back her head and laughs. If I didn't know that you was my wife's sister, I'd get ideas about you.
Such as what?
Oh, don't play so dumb. You know what.
All right, cards on the table. That suits me. I know I fib a good deal. After all, a woman's charm is 50% illusion. But when a thing is important, I tell the truth, and this is the truth. I haven't cheated my sister or you or anyone else as long as I've lived.
Where's the papers? In the trunk?
Everything that I own is in that trunk.
Stanley crosses the trunk, opens it roughly, and begins to open compartments.
What in the name of heaven are you thinking of? What's in the back of that little boy's mind of yours? That I'm absconding with something, attempting some kind of treachery on my sister? Let me do that. It'll be faster and simpler. I keep my papers mostly in this tin box.
What's them underneath?
Those are love letters, yellowing with antiquity, all from one boy.
He snatches them up. She speaks fiercely.
Give those back to me.
I'll have a look at them first.
The touch of your hands insults them.
Don't pull that stuff. He rips off the ribbon and starts to examine them. Blanche snatches them from him and they cascade to the floor.
Now that you've touched them, I'll burn them.
What in hell are they?
Poems a dead boy wrote. I hurt him the way that you would like to hurt me, but you can't. I'm not young and vulnerable anymore, but my young husband was, and never mind about that. Just give them back to me.
What do you mean by saying you'll have to burn them?
I'm sorry. I must have lost my head for a moment. Everyone has something he won't let others touch because of their intimate nature. The Ambler and Ambler, Crabtree, more Ambler and Ambler.
Hey, what is Ambler and Ambler?
A firm that made loans on the place.
Then it was lost on a mortgage?
That must have been what happened.
I don't want no ifs, ands or buts. Where's the rest of them papers?
There are thousands. Oh.
Sorry, go on.
There are thousands of papers stretching back over hundreds of years affecting Belle Reve as piece by piece our improvident grandfathers and father and uncles and brothers exchanged the land for their epic fornications, to put it plainly. The four-letter word deprived us of our plantation till finally all that was left, and Stella can verify that, was the house itself and about 20 acres of ground, including a graveyard, to which now all but Stella and I have retreated. Here all of them are, all papers. I hereby endow you with them. Take them, peruse them, commit them to memory even. I think it's wonderfully fitting that Belle Reve should finally be in this bunch of old papers in your big, capable hands. I wonder if Stella's come back with my lemon Coke.
I have a lawyer acquaintance who will study these out.
Present them to him with a box of aspirin tablets.
You see, under the Napoleonic Code, a man has to take an interest in his wife's affairs. Yeah, especially now she's going to have a baby.
Stella? Stella going to have a baby? I didn't know she was going to have a baby.
She gets up,
Stella.
crosses the outside door.
Stella for Star, how lovely to have a baby. It's all right. Everything's all right.
I'm sorry he did that to you.
Oh, I guess he's just not the type that goes for jasmine perfume, but maybe he's what we need to mix our blood with now that we've lost Belle Reve. We thrashed it out. I feel a bit shaky, but I think I handled it nicely. I laughed and treated it all as a joke. I called him a little boy and laughed and flirted. Yes, I was flirting with your husband. The guests are gathering for the poker party. Which way do we go now, Stella? This way?
No, this way.
The blind are leading the blind.
Red hot! Red hot!
Okay. Are we stopping now at scene 2?
Yes.
Or do you want to go on to scene 3?
No, I can't.
Yeah, I've got